Hey, it's Rebecca Smith from the KBIA newsroom in Columbia, and it's time for Missouri Health Talks, a project where we listen in on Missourians' conversations about access to health care. This week we hear from Dorreen Rardin and Jackie Reed in Columbia. They both worked as palliative end-of-care life nurses for more than 20 years and have since co-founded Caring Hearts and Hands of Columbia, a social model home for the dying. They spoke about what needs to be done to improve the end of folks' lives and about what the community can do to help. Here's Dorreen.
One of the first issues I found with dying patients is discharge options. They only had two places mainly to go, and that was home or into a nursing home. So it really just showed me that this is not a problem that's going to go away. It's just going to get worse, especially with us baby boomers getting older. And, so my big goal was we have to solve the problem. We have to offer another solution.
I remember, visiting with family members, and they had promised that they would never put mom or dad in a nursing home for end-of-life care, and realized then they didn't have the resources to bring them home. And, they were in tears and crying, and that just would break my heart, knowing that there was really no other option. So, our title, Caring Hearts and Hands of Columbia, was basically geared towards that, wanting to have the whole community come together to take on this problem. And, I think when people look back at the stressors in their life, the death of a loved one is really up there. So if we can do something to make that time a little bit easier, we certainly want to do that.
I discuss this with all my patients. What do you see your life like at the end of life? What do you want to smell? What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? What do you want to touch? And then you just bring those in. It would be easier in this house, but even in the hospital, I brought a cow in for a patient to see. It was his pet cow.
In the courtyard, not actually
Yeah,
in the hospital.
Yeah. We had a patient that was Indian. He loved riding horses, and his favorite smell was hay. We actually brought in his horse blanket and put it on the bed. We brought in a bale of hay. So, when you walk into a room, you don't see a patient. You see a life of a patient. You're not focusing on that patient dying. You're focused on, oh my God, tell me what this is all about, so that you really know what his love and passion was like.
People need to know, and if they've went through a death before, they know how stressful it can be. And so that's one of the things that we want to try to help alleviate. Allowing a person, a family member, a mom, a dad, a brother, sister, to be just that, a family member, instead of having to be the caretaker and the family member. If you're having to stay up all night long with somebody maybe that is having a difficult time, having to change their bed several times, you lose those precious moments of creating those memories. When you're so emotionally wiped out, you miss out on the opportunity to have those kind of moments. And we want to give that back to the family, those precious moments back to them, and not have them be as worried about the physical needs of the patient.
That was Jackie Reed and Dorreen Rardin, two Columbia nurses passionate about improving end-of-life care, speaking about the social model home, or community-supported home for terminally ill people, that they're working to create in our community. That's it for this week's Missouri Health Talks. Tune in next week for more conversations from throughout the state about health and access. I'm Rebecca Smith. Thanks for listening.